This is going to be an amazing tutorial that you're going to watch today because you're going to learn how to create 360 rotation simulation inside CreateStudio 3. Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Ali, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create fake 360 rotation using the 3D character creators. These guys are amazing because not only can we custom design their outfit, but we can also have them rotate in 360, giving us diversity in creating a lot of cool effects to impress our audience and really just engage with them and have fun. Now, I do have a video that talks about the fundamentals of fake 3D rotation inside CreateStudio. You can go ahead and watch that video by clicking on the link that shows on the top right. Pause this video, go ahead and click that link and watch it. If not, I'll just leave a link to that tutorial in the description so you can watch it right after this video, because this is going to teach you how to create 3D fake rotation inside CreateStudio without the need of any other tool to complement CS in any way. And this is very impressive because CS can be pushed to its limits to create a lot of stuff. So before we dive into our tutorial, I've got a sample that I want to share with you. As always, let's go ahead and watch it and come back to start creating. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching the sample. Now let me show you what is required before we begin creating, and that is the backgrounds that we're going to work with, because these guys are going to be a little bit different than the typical backgrounds that we use inside CreateStudio. They have different dimensions. So I'm going to share with you where do I get those images, and you can go ahead and start, downloading some of the images from that website and start creating or having fun with this type of effect. By the way, I'm also going to leave a link to the same image I'm using in this video in the description so you can download it and start working with it, but you're more than free to go and try different images from the website that I'm about to share with you. And that website is called freepik.com. So I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with the website, but those of you who don't know, the website again is called freepik.com. This is where you can find the images or the backgrounds that we're looking for. And these are going to be called panoramic images. Why are they panoramic? Because they have different dimensions and are different in size than the typical size that we work with, when we get images from the CreateStudio library, or the ones that we import into the media file. So once you visit the website, this is what you want to do. Let's start by searching for the image. So I'm going to type in desert, for example, and then I need to add the word illustration just to get the cartoonish style backgrounds. And so this is what basically is all about, is to make sure you type in the keyword of the image you're looking for and make sure you add the word illustration afterward so that you get the cartoonish style that we're about to see right now. Once you're done, hit enter, and then you're going to start seeing the results that we have on the page. And so to start seeing the panoramic images, this is what we want to do. We got to go onto the left panel of the website and find where it says orientation, and then click on the drop down menu. Then we can click on panoramic, and that will show us all the panoramic images that we can download. Now, for those of you who are not subscribers, who are not premium users of freepik.com, you can easily just go onto the left panel one more time. Make sure you go onto the license and click on the free icon to get all the free stuff in there. And then from there, you can see these are all the images that we can use. So I'm going to show you the perfect size that we can work with. You can see these guys, these are pretty cool, but they're not going to work as great. And so what I want to show you is maybe this one, for example, and you can see that the file size is 626 by 188. The image width is a little bit different than the typical backgrounds that we work with. So if I click on exit right there, I'm going to show you another image that works great. So basically these 4 or 5 images underneath each other, all of those ones on the right side are the perfect example that you can work with. Because if you click on that one, you're going to see again 626 by 188, same size. You go on to the next one right there, 626 by 203. That's also pretty cool. The difference is not that much, but you can see, it looks perfect and we can easily use it. So just make sure that the images are, pretty longer, in terms of the width than the other images, like these guys right here, like the ones I showed you on the top right there. They are pretty close to being, you know, landscape, which is the 1920 by 1080, but that's exactly not what we're looking for. So all we need is those type of images that are, you know, pretty long in width, so that we can use them and may achieve the perfect effect that we're looking for. So you can see also we have a couple in here, right? And you get a lot of options really. So if you hit the search on the website, you're going to see that we have 391 images. So you can go through all these images and start searching, and that's just under the word desert. But you're more than welcome to try, you know, different types of backgrounds depending on what you're creating. The goal here is to show you that this is the website where I source most of my images, and this will be the perfect website where you can also find the panoramic type images that we're looking forward to. Now let's go back into CS and show you how we start creating the 360 rotation and show you the simulation, how to easily do that. And we're going to learn a lot of tips and tricks, so be sure to stick around and watch this video until the end, and also make sure you watch the my other tutorial that talks about fake 3D rotation. Again, I'm going to leave a link to it in the description, so go ahead and click it when you're ready to watch it and really just have fun. So I'm going to start by deleting this one right there, and then we're going to start from scratch. I'll go to my media files, and then I'm going to grab the image that we are going to work with. When I zoom out of my canvas, you're going to notice that this is the image. Again, it's, you know, pretty taller than the typical images that we work with. Now, all I need to do, first of all, I'm going to go under settings and change the canvas mode to show, just so I can see the full image in full color. And then what I need to do next is simply drag the image and have it start right there. Right, so make sure that it's pretty much, you know, lined up with the canvas on the right side, just like that. And then I need to make a duplicate of it. So I'm going to hit the Control D, or you can do Command D if you're on Mac OS, to have a duplicate of your image. Next, we want to make that image flipped so that we can drag it and have it right next to the original image that we're working with. So once you do that, you want to go to settings and then click where it says properties, and then you're going to click find where it says flip, and then flip it horizontally, just like this. And then when you're done, you can simply just drag the image and make sure it is perfectly lined up with the one on the canvas, just like that, right? And then once you're done, you know, you can easily just go back into your canvas by clicking on the letter F to view the canvas in full width, just like that. And then we can click on hide, and we're good to go. Next, we need to group both images, but before we do this, we need to select both images and simply just extend them all the way to 20 seconds. That would be the length of our video today. And so I'm gonna select both of them after extending them to 20 seconds, and then I will right click and then group these guys together. Then once I group them up, then I needed to grab both, you know, to grab my group and make sure that the image is going to start, you know, from the left side, and I make sure that it's pretty lined up with my canvas right there. Not only that, but you also want to grab it above, you know, so basically have a little bit of space, empty space at the bottom. Don't worry about that, because we're going to add something in there to fill up the canvas at the bottom. So we're just keeping this empty for now. Just make sure that you keep, you know, a quarter of your screen at the bottom empty with nothing, and make sure that your background is also lined up with your canvas on the left side. Once you're done, this is what you want to do next. We're going to grab a circle, and you can easily do that by hitting the Shift key and the letter C on your keyboard to grab a circle. And then what you want to do is start by changing or adjusting its colors. So for this one, I'm going to go under settings, open up the color settings, and then I'm going to click on the, you see the three squares that shows up on the top of the color panel. These are the different types of colors that we can apply. So the first one is solid colors, the second one is gradient colors, and then the last one is radial colors. The one that we're looking for is the square that's on the middle, so we can go with a gradient color. And then I would start by adding, you know, maybe 2 or 3 colors from the actual background. So I have my first circle selected right there on that line, and then I'm simply going to click on the color picker, so I can just pick one of the colors available. So let's go with the dark brown on that rock right there, and then I'm going to click on the second circle right there to be able to change the or adjust the second color. And then I'm going to choose the color picker one more time. Maybe I'm going to go with a lighter, you know, brown or orange like that. And that looks, you know, perfect. We can add other colors if we want to, simply by clicking anywhere, you know, in the middle right there to add another color. Now we have 3 colors that we can play with and adjust them. And by the way, You can adjust the position of these colors by dragging these circles, across the line, and and basically rearrange the order of these colors, or and how far they are from each other, or the order of the images, from there. And then so I'm going to change the second color. Let's do that, and click on the color picker right there, and we can just pick a little lighter brown right there, and then from there we're good to go. Now I can just drag this guy like this and get it closer, so the first two circles are pretty close to each other, except the last one that's got the lighter orange or brown on the right side, like that. And then what we want to do is we want to zoom out of our canvas, select a circle, and then we're going to make it really big. So we're going to scale it up like that, just to cover the entire canvas. And we're not going to make it exactly a circle. We need to make it a semicircle. How? By just grabbing the circle a little bit from the left side. It could be an oval or something like that, but that will be the goal. But don't forget to make sure that the image is is big enough that when it rotates, it's going to cover the entire canvas, and we're not going to see any gaps in between. Once you're done with that, this is what you want to do next. You want to make sure that your circle layer is underneath your group that we just created. So that way we kind of created a ground, for that, mountain layer that we have on top. And then we can extend the circle layer in the timeline to make sure it is lined up with our group, just like that. And so the first thing we want to do is simply adjusting or creating animations for both images, and then we can start grabbing Tom and start working with our 3D character. So first thing, we'll start by the circle, and so I'm going to select my circle, and then I'm going to click on add animation. I will use rotation animation, so I'll go and click rotation. I'll use the easing we'll keep it as linear for both in and out, and then I have my keyframes ready on the circle layer. Next, I'm going to grab the second circle, and the second keyframe of my circle layer, and drag it all the way to 10 seconds right there. And then I'm going to make sure it is selected. I'm going to zoom out, and then I'm going to rotate my circle or my oval shape 360 degree, just like this. And then when done, I'm going to create another animation. So where you're at, you don't want to go anywhere. You just make sure you keep selecting your circle right there, and then click on add animation again, because we're going to need to add another rotation animation. So our easing is still linear. We're going to do properties, and we're going to do rotation. So the reason why we're creating two rotation animations on the same layer is because I want to maintain the speed from 0 frames up to 10 seconds, and then from 10 seconds up to 20 seconds. I want to maintain that speed so that it looks smooth and nice. Once you're done, you now have your two new keyframes. The first one is overlapping the second one. The second keyframe is the one that we want to adjust. To make sure you select that and drag it all the way until the end of your layer in the timeline, just like this. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to rotate it again 360. Make sure that the rotation is in one angle, right? Remember the way how you've rotated the circle though, or the oval shape the first time, and do the same on the second animation, so that it continues to rotate in the same direction from start to finish. And now this is what it's going to look like. If I just pray for you, we're going to have a nice, color rotation at the bottom as a ground for this background, but it adds a nice effect. And these are the little tips or little things that makes a difference when you add them to your projects or videos. Once you're done with that, the next thing we want to do is we want to create our animation for the background. So now that we have this grouped up, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to select our group, and then we're going to click on add animation and simply click on position. Easing is going to be linear for both in and out. Now I have my two keyframes ready. I'll select the second keyframe and drag it all the way to 10 seconds, and make sure that this the second keyframe is lined up with the keyframes underneath, or on the oval shape underneath, and make sure this is selected. And then from there, I could just grab my image right there all the way. Let's just grab the image all the way up until here, so that we have it lined up. So this is basically the first image that we got. The duplicate one is on the right side, and then from there I still have my group selected. I'll click on add animation one more time. Easing is going to be linear. Properties would go for position, and now I have my two keyframes. I need to select and drag the second keyframe, make sure it is also lined up with my last keyframe on the oval shape right there, and then select it. It's turned in blue. Then we can simply grab the image all the way to the left side like this, and make sure it is perfectly lined up. Now, we guarantee that we have a consistent speed from start to finish. So if I go back to the very beginning and then press play for you, this is what the image is going to look like. So this is the type of speed that we're looking for. We want to maintain it and not really make it slow. This is a perfect speed that I'm happy with for 10 seconds. And then we do the same thing for the other 10 seconds up until the end. And that will be the kind of, animation that we're looking for. This would give you the illusion that, the image is kind of, is rotating and it's kind of curved, or although it's not curved at all, but we're going to try to achieve that illusion and make it really engaging. So we're all good with that one. Now it's time for us to start working with the 3D creator. So I'm going to go back into my 3D creators right there. And then I'm going to grab Tom and drop him onto the canvas. Then I could just, scale him down just a little bit and then have him right there, here, like this. And I'm going to keep his action idle. So this is just for the sake of the tutorial. So if you would like to try different actions, it's really up to you, but I'm just going to keep them idle that way. And as far as design, feel free to design your character however you want. For me, I'm just going to go with one of the presets I already have. And by the way, if you don't know how to save your character's presets, this is what you want to do. Once you have designed your character from the customized tab over here, you go into the outfit or the wardrobe to be able to change or design your character however you want and change his or her outfit however you like. Once you're done with that, you just need to right click the character and then simply click on save as a preset, and that will be saved under the preset tab on the right panel under settings, where you can see all the presets that you have saved. This way you don't have to redesign your characters every time you want to use the same kind of design in other projects. And again, for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to keep the action as idle. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the action all the way until the end of the video. Right there. So we have a nice idle action or idle, animation from the very beginning up until the end. The next thing I want to do is I want to create, 2 animations, and they're going to be character view. So I'm going to select my character in the timeline, and I'm simply going to click on add animation above the timeline, and under properties, in order to have my character rotate in 360 degree, this is what I need to do. I'm going to need to go to the properties, like I said, and when we click on add animation, simply click on character view, and that is the one that is responsible for rotating characters in 360 degrees. You're only going to find the character view animation available under properties only when you're working with 3D character creators. But if you try to work with other characters or work with other elements or assets, you're not going to find the character view animation under the properties tab because it's only related to the 3D creators. So just a tip for you there. Okay. Next, I want to make sure that my easing is actually linear for both in and out. Don't forget about that. And then I'm going to drag my second keyframe all the way until 10 seconds right here, and make sure that I select my second keyframe and simply click on the rotate button or icon that shows above the character. And I'm going to rotate my character in 360, make him, turn around himself or rotate around himself just like this, just once, right? So we need to complete a full rotation once. And then when you're done with that, you want to add another animation. So again, we want to maintain the speed from start to finish, even on the character as well. So I'm going to click on add animation one more time. Easing is going to be linear, properties is going to be character view, and then now I have my 2 keyframes ready. Next, I'm going to select my second keyframe, drag this guy all the way until the end, and make sure this is also perfectly lined up with all other keyframes in the timeline. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on rotate and then have my character rotate. Remember to know what direction you had your character rotated, and so you don't have the character kind of look weird. So always remember how you rotated and what direction was the character rotated in the first time, and do exactly the same on the second one, just like this. And then when you're done, this is what it's going to look like. But then, I'm going to show you how to spice things up. Well, let's just go on and watch what we've created so far, and then we can come back into spicing things up using the camera animation. Let me play this for you now, and this is what it's going to look like. The character is rotating in 360 around himself on the center, and then the background is also moving. So this is the kind of illusion that we're creating. And again, with the help of the camera animation, that will create the illusion that we're looking for. And this is going to be a great effect that you can use in a lot of your videos. But by the way, I want to share a tip with you that this effect works amazing on vertical videos. So if you're planning on creating shorts for YouTube or creating reels and stories for social media platforms, this is going to be a perfect example. Why? Because the illusion is much better on vertical videos. And once you create it in landscape, you can easily do that by changing the aspect ratio. I'm going to share with you that tip at the end of the video and show you how you can easily do that, so you don't have to worry about doing it, and you can still have kind of two versions of the same video, one in landscape and one in vertical. You can test it out yourself and let me know in the comments what you think, whether you like the one in the vertical dimension better, or the landscape one looks better. Just let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Just curious to know what everybody thinks about this. All right, so now that we got this covered, it's time for us to start working with the camera animation. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my effects and components icon on the left side right there, and then I'm going to click on components where our camera is, and simply drag the camera and drop it onto the canvas. Now we have the camera editor ready and opened up for us. Next, we want to start adding animation. So you can now see that at the top of the timeline on the left side, there's a little camera icon right there, and this is going to be our camera track, where we can add camera animations to use it and make zoom in or zoom out, or panning left or right or whatever, right? But that would be where the camera animation track is. All right, and then in order to start adding animation, there are two ways for you to do that. You can easily right click where the camera track is and simply click on add animation, or you can also double click to add a camera animation. That will do the same exact thing, right? These are just two different ways for you to add animations. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start by zooming out, and then I'm going to zoom in, right? So first of all, I need to make sure that my camera animation bar is a little bit, for advanced in the timeline, so that I can have my playhead right before the camera animation bar. Then I'm going to adjust the frame size of my camera. How do I do this? You have four different nods, or four nods around the corner, that you can adjust the camera frame and just make it, lighter, or actually smaller than that, I should say, right? So we can zoom out. So I'm going to make it like this right there. Something like that is pretty cool right here. And then I want to move my playhead after the camera animation bar. Then I would just, I would keep it there, keep it the way it is, so that it goes to full width. That's absolutely fine by me. The next thing we want to do is simply drag the camera animation bar to make it start right from the very beginning. And then I'm going to drag the camera animation bar all the way to where our, or basically at 10 seconds to where our second keyframe is at, right? And then we need to create another camera animation. So I'm gonna need to double click one more time to add another camera animation. So remember, the first one we zoomed out, now we want to zoom in again. And you can do it the other way around if you like. It's really up to you how you want to start this. Or you could just do one of them, maybe just zoom in or just zoom out. I mean, it's up to you, but I'm just sharing with you how I did it in that sample that you've watched earlier. And then it's up to you how you want to create your zoom in or zoom out effect. All right. Now, once you've added another camera animation, again, we're not going to change anything about the easing, although you can change that, but I don't want to do this. But just so you know, for those who doesn't know about this, easing effects that are available for the camera animation is that if you right click the camera animation bar, you're going to find one of the options that says easing, and from there you can click on it and then open up the easing panel, where you can change the easing effect to any effect or any easing effect that you'd like. But again, for me, I'm going to keep it smooth as a default one. I'm pretty happy with that. Next, I want to make sure that I move my playhead after the camera animation bar and make sure it is selected and turn to blue. Then I'm going to adjust the camera frame one more time to create a zoom in on the character to something like this. I'm quite happy with that. Maybe let's do something like that right there, and make sure it is centered. So we're going to go, oops, I'm sorry. I click on expand instead. So we'll just adjust the size one more time. right there. I was trying to click on the center button to center the camera instead of just trying to adjust it. So see, it looks like I have to make it even bigger so that when it's centered, it's still on the character's. Let's make sure it is kind of like big enough like this and click on center. Now we're good to go. All right, next we want to grab the camera animation bar and butt it with the previous camera animation just like this. We're gonna drag it all the way to the left side, and then we will expand it or extend it all the way until 20 seconds like this. And that will be it. So let's just go ahead and watch this together and then have fun. There you go. That will be the type of effect that we're looking for. So this is the camera zooming out of our character or our scene, giving you the illusion of the 360 rotation. And now it's time to make a zoom in again on the character. Again, this is kind of like, it makes you think that, you know, the whole background is kind of rotating around the character as he's also rotating around himself in 360 mode. And this is pretty cool. So like I said, once you're done with that, this will be the landscape version. If you want to change the aspect ratio of your video and export a version, a vertical version of it, you can easily do that. First of all, you're gonna need to group all the layers in the timeline just by selecting all of them, and then you can hit Control or Command G, the letter G, to group things up. And then you can deselect everything and then go to the settings, whether that's going to be for you on the right side or on the left side. Make sure you go onto the where it says resolution and then change the aspect ratio of your canvas to vertical like that. And you're going to notice that the canvas size has been changed except for our project itself. So the only thing you need to do is simply make sure that you select this guy, right? And simply just resize this whole thing, you know, just to make it fit onto your screen however you like. That's basically what I did, right? Or you can go to properties and then adjust the size and scale this up to make it really big. And then of course, you know, drag this back, right? You can have it actually start right there. Let's take a look at that right here. Make sure that your character is in frame just like this. And then now let's go back in there and take a look. Now, if I play it for you, oops, okay, looks like we have something wrong with the camera. All right, okay, let's make adjustments. So I'm gonna drag this to the camera, make sure make sure I have some space at the very beginning at 0 frames. Then I can easily just drag this guy over here like that, right? Just to make sure it's, you know, my character is in frame. And then when I'm happy, just grab everything back again. And then when I play it, this is what it's gonna look like. So like I said, go ahead and start creating this, effect and see it for yourself. And let me know in the comments what you think, whether the vertical one looks better to you or the landscape one looks better. And until then, if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and be sure to watch the other tutorial that I shared with you in the description to learn about the fundamentals of creating 3D fake rotation. And everything can be done entirely in CreateStudio without the need of other tools to complement this. So until then, I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Hello!